NSM, Médecins pour la survie mondiale, l'Association canadienne des médecins pour l'environnement, qui sont les commanditaires prestige, AR, PSR, International Physician for the Prevention of Nuclear War de Suisse, et Argent Mining Watch Canada pour le Québec à meilleure mine, et je dis particulièrement merci à M. Hugo Lapointe ici qui a été...
Canada is very proud to be bilingual, so I apologize that I am from Western Canada, where our school system failed to recognize that fact. We come together here with an amazing amount of expertise in this room of people who have been involved in learning and understanding from one another the entire nuclear chain. This is a working conference. First, we'll be welcomed by Chief Konrad Sioui, Hereditary Chief of the Bear Clan of the Huron-Wendat and Grand Chief of the Council of his nation. This will be followed by Grand Chief Matthew Coon of the Grand Council of the Crees of Quebec and Labrador.
Thank you, Dale and Eric. Kwekwe Queenie at the Kwa, Sondarienta, Anisha, Taye. I'd like to also recognize the presence of Grand Chief Coon, as you said, and delegates, participants, people who decided to make a trip to Quebec City and to come to our land, our traditional territory, that we call Sioui. You find yourself here in the oldest part of what history has brought to understand as the foundation of North America. My community is called Wendake. It's the oldest Indian reserve in North America. Who were the ones who welcomed Jacques Cartier when he arrived on these shores, on the peninsula? We brought him here, right here. We used to have a beautiful place called Stadacone. I don't want to make a long story, but this first encounter did not give any good result here. Our Grand Chief, the Nakana, was kidnapped with 7 other people of our nation, of the Huron-Wendat nation, and brought overseas to never come back. And then we started to think of why did it fail? You know? Why this gathering that was supposed to be beneficial? You know? The European mentality, individual mind, could not meet with the circular, you know, spirit of the Nakana, you know. But then we realized that Jacques Cartier could not understand the Nakana. Could not understand that you don't master the environment, that you're part of it. You don't only put on Earth just to go and grab and take from Mother Earth. You have to live with Mother Earth. You have to care, because we live on the back of the turtle. That's our name. We call ourselves Wendat. It means the islanders, the ones who live on the island. History has said that we made a long journey up from the first turtle down there. And when the second turtle, which is North America, appeared from the Ice Age, we came and we made the long journey up to inhabit this new turtle. And that's why, you know, we've been living on the Great Lakes area, Huron, Ontario, and Erie, and our river is the St. Lawrence. We've been traveling and paddling this country for time immemorial. And we gave to this country its name, Canada. Jacques Cartier was lost. He says, where are we? And this is a true story. And you're in Canada here, Canada, where you will find many long houses, where you will find many cabins together. And there might be a place for you also. But please, don't bring your old European kind of way of thinking. Adjust to here. Adjust to the circle. Adjust to the fact that we are matrilineal societies. We belong to our women. Our God is a woman. Her name is Ataotik. So don't try to break our spirits, our cultures, and to make us becoming individual in scope. Let us feel that we are a community. Let us feel that we belong to the clan of our mothers. Let us feel that we should live in peace and harmony. Let us understand that we should all have a rightful place on earth. And please don't come and not only take and grab from our territories, from our nations. Share what you have the best to share with us. And that's why the first treaty we made is called a Toro Wampa. And this is what guides all First Nations as of today. We go down our river in our canoe, and we are rich in culture, in everything. And the newcomer goes down the river in his own boat. And we're supposed to go side by side in parallel capacities, respecting each other, and share what we have best. So that life and the journey is going to be beautiful. We're going to share, we're going to help each other. Never to try to assimilate or integrate or disintegrate the other. So we believe that we have fulfilled our part of the treaty. And this is what we want to share also with the rest of the ones who are going to come here. And we believe also that the more it goes, the more we become, all of us, disregarding where we come from on earth, more indigenous. We understand that we are part of Mother Earth, that no one and nothing can dissociate us from Turtle Island, that we have to take a great need of her. She nourishes us, and that we have also to keep Canada strong, Canada powerful, Canada North. And why? Because first of all, the inhabitants of Canada North are mainly indigenous people. So when it's time to use Canada to fight and to claim sovereignty over the Arctic ice and so on, these politicians, they're going to use often our own people. But we should not only be used. We, among the Huron-Wendat nation, we have a philosophy who says that around the circle, we all have our rightful place on the circle. So I see you today as to belong to this circle, to belong to our nation, to belong to, the circular mind. And many of our people and elders say that the linear mind has come to an end. It's too violent, it's too aggressive, it's too individual, it's too colonial in scope, and we have to change that and come back to what America is, what indigenous people can bring the best of the world, which is to be part of the circle, to respect our mothers, to respect our sisters, to respect Mother Earth. And if we see that there's a threat, nuclear or any kind of threat to the environment, we stick together and we fight it together in peace, in good minds, in harmony, in order to preserve what is to be preserved, Mother Earth, for the next generations to come. Thank you. Have a good day.
Askum Konrad, Joe Gamu Batayo. Suggestion JG with the good book shame JG which you gave Danji, the young Danji to whisper to me gave. Askum like that way. I just said a few words in my own language. As the chairperson said, we're bilingual. English and Crees is my language. It is an honor for me to participate in the opening of this gathering and to welcome you to Quebec City for this important and timely symposium. I would also like to thank the Huron-Wendat Nation, of course my good friend Grand Chief Konrad Sioui for welcoming us all to their territory in this meeting. Many of you have traveled from great distance to be here. The participants in this gathering come from over 20 countries and from 5 continents. It is an honor to have you with us. The fact that so many of you have traveled from near and from far is a testament to the importance of the subject matter of this conference. My name is Matthew Coon. I've been called other names. I am presently the Grand Chief of the James Bay Cree Nation. My people's territory is known as Eeyou, Istchee. It is located in northern Quebec. It comprises about 1/5 of the province. Our territory is rich in natural resources, including uranium. We are told that much of the uranium potential of Quebec is found in deposits located in our territory, which we call Eeyou, Istchee. Since 2006, my people have been fighting against uranium development on our land. We have resolved to ensure that no uranium projects proceed on our territory. Uranium thank you very much. So uranium development is an issue of great importance to the Cree Nation. As you know, this year marked the 70th anniversary of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. For the first time, the world saw the brutally destructive capabilities of nuclear energy. This was the beginning of a new kind of threat and a new scale of danger. Sadly, this threat continues today, despite the end of the Cold War. And the truth is, the bombs that destroyed Hiroshima, Nagasaki would not have been possible without Canada's contribution of uranium. Uranium for the 8 bombs came from Port Uranium in the Northwest Territories. This uranium was taken from the land of the Saulteaux Dene people near Great Bear Lake and was refined in Ontario for the U.S. Army. In fact, in 1943, President Roosevelt and Prime Minister Churchill signed a secret agreement in which they vowed to work together to develop the A-bomb and agreed to never use it against each other. That secret agreement, which played a central part in ushering in the nuclear age, was signed right here in Quebec City. And so it's fitting that we come together again in Quebec City to reflect upon the lessons to be learned in the 7 decades since Churchill and Roosevelt signed the Quebec Agreement. As we all know, the nuclear cycle begins with uranium exploration and extraction. And it is this part of the cycle that has already directly affected my nation. My people were first confronted with the prospect of uranium development in 2006 when Stratico Resources, a mining company, began an intensive uranium exploration program on the family hunting grounds of the Cree Nation of Istchee, an 8-hour drive north of here. In 2008, Stratico announced its plans to undertake advanced exploration efforts at the Matoush site, located in the Otish Mountains at the crest of 2 major watersheds that bring water to Istchee and throughout our entire territory. Stratico applied to the Quebec government for the necessary permits. Confronted with the possibility of an eventual large-scale uranium mine and mill on Cree territory, the Cree Nation came together. We consulted experts in uranium, as well as experts in the land and traditional practices. It became clear to us that uranium mining, long-term tailings storage could have serious negative impacts on our health, the environment, the land, and the animals that we depend on. Ultimately, it was our communities who decided that they did not want this kind of development on our land. Cree leadership listened, and in 2012, the Grand Council of the Crees enacted a permanent moratorium on uranium exploration, extraction, and waste placement in Istchee. This was not an easy decision to us. We know that uranium mining could bring valuable employment opportunities and other economic benefits for our people. But uranium mining will also create unacceptable environmental burdens for the Cree Nation for many generations to come. We could not support a form of development that is so completely incompatible with our values and way of life. And so we resolved to ensure that the Matous project did not go forward, that the uranium of Istchee remains in the ground. My people, and particularly the Cree youth, have educated themselves about the risks of uranium mining. We have insisted that our views be heard. We have worked with allies to spread the message. We have believed from the beginning that once Quebecers learn the true facts about uranium, they would stand with us. We have enjoyed some important successes, which I am proud to celebrate with you all this week. In 2013, the government of Quebec refused to grant the permit that Stratico required to proceed with the Matous project. The government also mandated the Bureau d'Audience Publique sur l'Environnement, also known as the BAP, Quebec's environmental watchdog, to undertake a review of the uranium industry and make recommendations to the government about the future of the uranium industry in Quebec. The BAP will deliver its report in the next few months. And most recently, Stratico announced that it was abandoning its legal challenge to the government's decision. The uranium at the Matous site will stay in the ground. These are successes that we must build upon in Quebec, Canada, and more broadly. This is a pivotal year for uranium development. The world is at a crossroads. Nuclear energy currently generates 11% of the world's electricity. But disasters like Chernobyl and more recently Fukushima, as I pronounce it, has once again made the world question the benefits of this form of energy. The rising costs of maintenance of reactors, the deflated price of uranium, the ongoing safety concerns brought to light by events like Fukushima have led many countries to question the future of nuclear energy. These questions must be asked. The issues associated with uranium development are complex, require critical thought, and that is why we are here. Over the next 3 days, we'll have the chance to listen to each other, learn from one another, and to exchange ideas and opinions about all the various aspects of uranium and its impacts. But this should not be merely an academic exercise. It should go far beyond that. The goal of this symposium is to make recommendations to ensure increased protection of health, safety, and the environment. I also hope that this symposium will enable us to build alliances and to work together to change and improve the nuclear policies of our respective countries and internationally. The Cree Nation has a long history of working with our allies, both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal, to achieve our collective goals. Let's work together to do something important for future generations, and let this conference be the beginning. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
How dare we kill each other? How dare we? And now we've learnt to destroy the only life in the universe. Maybe the algae will survive. Maybe the cockroaches. So now we've entered a period of a hot war, not a cold war, where Putin is conducting nuclear war exercises across the whole of Russia. America's conducting nuclear war exercises right now, NORAD, and is conducting flights over Washington, practicing nuclear war exercises. Putin has elevated his nuclear status to a higher state of alert. Indeed, on 9/11, American state of alert went from DEFCON 5, the lowest state of alert, DEFCON 4, 3, 2, and the next one you press the button. There are 2 men in each missile silos, of which there are hundreds, each armed with a pistol. One shoot the other if one shows signs of deviant behaviour. Many of them have been fired, over 70 recently, because they're on drugs. They go to sleep on the job. They have floppy disks which determine whether or not they launch, and their telephones often do not work. Some of their commanders have been fired because it's very boring sitting in a silo waiting to blow up the world day by day. There are many ways nuclear war can occur and end life on Earth, but with the elevated situation between Russia and America now, where neither trust each other, we're heading on the path towards nuclear annihilation. I'm going to now drop a bomb on Quebec City, on this hotel, Delta Hotel. It's going to come in at 20 times the speed of sound. You won't hear it. It will explode right here with 6 times the heat inside the centre of the sun. It will dig a hole 3/4 of a mile wide and 800 feet deep, turning us, the buildings and the earth below, to radioactive fallout shut up in the mushroom cloud. 5 miles from here, in all directions, every person will be vaporized, turned into gas. A little boy in Hiroshima was reaching up to catch a red dragonfly on his hand against the blue of the sky, and there was a blinding flash, and he disappeared, leaving his shadow behind on the pavement, which is in the Hiroshima Museum. 20 miles from here in all directions, everybody will be lethally burnt. 3rd-degree burns. People will be sucked out of buildings as missiles flying at 100 miles an hour with winds of over 1,000 miles an hour, sucking them out. Pieces of glass will be flying through the air which will decapitate people. The whole area would then be engulfed in a firestorm of 3,000 square miles, burning everything and everyone, even in the heart of winter. This is so for the whole of Canada, every university, every industrial facility, even railway crossings. Railway stations are targeted. There is such a redundancy of weapons. So we're sitting on hell, waiting to go down into the fires of hell. And nobody is talking about it, including the mainstream media. The State Department's very excited about taking on Putin. Yeah, Putin's not a good guy, but neither was George Bush, who killed over 1 million people in Iraq. What are we doing? And Canada's a main part of this, because you are exporting uranium like there's no tomorrow and selling your CANDU reactors, which make very pure plutonium, which is easy to make bombs with. That's what India did with your CANDU reactor and your uranium. And the nuclear industry is intent on spreading its nuclear power plants throughout the world. The United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Vietnam, they're all building nuclear power plants, which not only produce plutonium that lasts for 500,000 years, and you only need 10 pounds to make a bomb, but producing massive quantities of radioactive waste with nowhere to put it. Radioactive waste will leak into the food, bioconcentrate over time, causing epidemics of cancer, leukemia and genetic disease. So uranium's a great mineral, isn't it? And as the indigenous people say, it should be left in the ground. They know how to look after the earth. We, Caucasians, do not. How do we get a handle on these characters in Washington, in your government? Harper just lies down in front of the American officials. So does my Prime Minister, called Tony Abbott, one of the worst Prime Ministers we've ever had. How do we get a handle on these men who think they have to kill? But by killing with nuclear weapons, they're going to destroy probably the only life in the universe. And I don't think it's if, I think it's when. Things are getting so bad now, and we're all practicing a kind of psychic numbing, walking like lemmings towards the cliff of annihilation, not even seeing, hearing, or understanding what's going on. I held a conference on this at the end of February called The Dynamics of Possible Nuclear Extinction. We got no coverage in the mainstream media at all. Stephen Hawking et al. Are now saying that artificial intelligence, which is really moving very fast, could within about 10 years, the computers could initiate a nuclear war by themselves. America is going to spend over $1 trillion in the next 30 years upgrading, no, replacing every single nuclear weapon, every single missile, ship, plane. $1 trillion. When how many children in the world are starving? How dare they? And you know why that happened? For Obama to get the START II treaty through Congress, he had to promise Senator Kyle that he would spend $1 trillion in the next 30 years to replace every single nuclear weapon. All the nuclear weapons labs, Los Alamos, Lawrence Livermore, Sandia, are now run by private companies, Bechtel et al. This whole thing is insane. And the average person knows nothing about it. It's good for us to do this here, but unless we produce this material and get it on the media to educate Mr. and Mrs. Joe Brown sitting in front of their television, nothing will happen. Politicians don't respond to anything except the power of an educated people, and at the moment the people in this country and indeed in the world are totally ignorant and uneducated. We walk blindly towards our annihilation. We're a very special species. Are we an evolutionary aberrant? Or are we smart enough to evolve psychologically and spiritually to do the right thing, to survive? Canada has a great responsibility. You must stop uranium mining. You must close down Cameco. You must get rid of Harper. You once had a great Prime Minister, Trudeau. I had lunch with Trudeau. And you were testing cruise missiles in Canada. And I said, the majority of people in Canada do not want cruise missiles tested. Every single one of you, if powerful enough and in touch with your passion and care enough about the planet and the roses about to bloom, cannot lead a revolution in Canada. It's up to you.